Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Hunting with Purpose. It is the 31st part. It is the part, obviously, if we are to follow this sequentially, it is the part that is coming after part 30. Part 30 was the recording where I essentially undertook to basically make all of the Awaken Lancers and Gun Lancers that I possibly could. Well, no. I should amend that statement. I'm not making literally every Lance and Gun Lance that has an Awaken ability, because I want the best for each element. What is unfortunate is that some elements are not actually accommodated by the Awaken system for the weapon types of Lance and Gun Lance, which means that, especially in regards to Thunder, I am left wanting. And it is definitely a shame. I am pleased to say that when it comes to the forging of these weapons, I have almost completed the process. Yeah, I didn't really want to do that at that angle, but fortunately the bottle cap did not actually fall on the ground. I'm just drinking Tooheys Old today. It's an Australian dark ale. It's a very basic one, but I enjoy it. It's not like a fucking boutique beer, okay? But it's nice all the same. At least for me. Definitely better than some of the other Australian beer you get. But yeah, I'm almost done with the forging of these weapons. I've forged all of the lances that I want to forge. And I have almost forged all of the... you know why I'm struggling to get this off? It's because it's a fucking screw top. If you're wondering why I'm standing here struggling, I'm not actually standing, I'm sitting here. It's because it's a screw top. So there's actually like grooves that are preventing the cap from coming up. But I don't care, I'm not trying to unscrew it anyway. Why shape the bottle top like that and have it be a screw top? Just hurts my fucking hand when I take it off. I guess I just have to be a man or something, you know. I'm a man drinking beer, so... gotta fucking unscrew it, you know. Yeah, I'm of course phenomenally masculine, as you've all come to realize. Phenomenally masculine. But yeah. Oh, hold on, I need to respond to a message from someone. Which, as I'm sure those of you who watch me a lot are aware, I do not often do while live, but that one I did need to respond to. It was of moderate importance. The last weapon that I'm forging, of the weapons that I wanted to forge for Awaken Gun Lance, I believe is my... oh shit, it's not the fire one. I completed the fire one. Which one is it? Let's have a look, shall we? I mean, jeez. I'm sure you guys are already sick of looking at this screen. Let's go and have a look. The head of my beer is doing weird things. You can see that, right? It's got like a... well, yeah. You've got the head and then there's another one on top of it. It's got two heads. Alright. If you're wondering why I'm dressed this way, I will apprise you of that in a moment. But for the moment, that was very articulate, using the same word almost back to back. So I just made this one, the Imperial Sworn Lance. That is the Awaken Fire Gun Lance I'll be using. Uh-huh. But what element is this? Is this ice? I actually don't know what it is. I suppose I'll just have to narrow it down. So this is poison. I think, yeah, that would be poison. Oh no, it's probably paralysis. Is it poison or paralysis? I don't care. It's something. That's dragon. Fire. Maybe that's ice. I suppose I could just use my little cheat sheet and actually check. By the way, it's not a cheat sheet. It is slime, in actual fact. Again, and I did mention this probably halfway through, or perhaps even towards the latter part of the previous livestream, I do not have ice, thunder, or poison, it turns out that End of Night is in fact a paralysis awakened gunlance. I don't really have any desire to use a paralysis gunlance, but it could be interesting, especially considering that it's called End of Night. You have to admit that that is a very exciting name for a weapon. And as I said in the previous recording, it comes across as this very edgy sort of name, but it's actually rather the opposite. It's the end of night, you know? The sun is rising. It's a positive, happy sort of weapon name. So, there you go. There's no need to be sad or, you know, lugubrious. It's the end of night. If it were called the beginning of night, that would be edgy. And quite frankly, I'd be getting into character upon equipping it. I'd be, you know, I'd get the eyeliner out or something. It's been a little while. Good to have you again. Okay. The Edgelord lands. Well, if you go through the names of the Nargacuga weapons from Freedom Unite, you'll come to realize that the edgy theme, when it comes to weapon naming, goes back to the very genesis of Nargacuga. The most noteworthy of those examples being the Greatsword, which, I kid you not, was called the Darkness Darkblade. You know, saying dark once was insufficient. They needed to call it the Darkness Darkblade, which obviously is to suggest that it is especially dark and evil, and something one should be wary of. So, for those, again, who watched the previous recording, you would be aware that the primary objective for me at the end of that recording, and obviously between then and now, was to ameliorate my desperate lack of ore that I had in my inventory. It was essentially just, it was empty. Like, I don't really have iron ore, I don't have macrolite ore, I don't have fusium ore. These are all fairly typical ore types. But do you know why I don't really have many of them? It's because in the first instance, I don't really play low or high rank. And second of all, I don't mine. So I just slowly but surely started eating into my supply of those ore types. And by the time I'm at this point making the last weapons, really, of this particular character, I just don't have it, so I had to go and mine. I've spent hours mining. The amount of fusium that I need is ridiculous. Now don't freak out, I don't actually have 0 of 15, I actually have 8. So that's one good thing. And I've got 24 iron ore, so we're getting there. We're not as far from the goal as it may seem at first glance. You have to realize that there is another number further to the left of the needed, as you can see towards the top of the required materials you've got in blue, owned/needed. On the owned side, that is what is in my inventory, and then on the needed side, that tells you the actual requisite amount, and as well as that, it shows you what's in your box. So, yes, I'm currently working on fusium. Dark Blade of the Darkness, yes. Hello, M. Mantrax. And I suppose I didn't say hello to you either, Ghastly Tal. Hello to you as well. I don't remember you, Mantrax, I'm really sorry. It is not alerting me to the fact that this is the first time that you've spoken in the live stream. I'm assuming that it does that in the mobile version, which is currently what I'm using to monitor the chats. But yeah, in the event that you have been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time, then welcome. Yeah, the difference in greeting does not, well, it's not all that stark, so... I don't know if you were seeking to confirm what I said, Mantrax, or if you were seeking to inform me. Either way, it was unnecessary, but Thank you for your assiduous contributions. Outside of that, yeah, our main objective right now is Fusium ore. I'll tell you what I've been doing. I have needed so much Fusium ore, it is ridiculous. I have needed it for... I think what ended up happening, while I was upgrading this gun lance over here, the Imperial Sworn Lance, I needed 5 Fusium, and then in the upgrade that followed it, I needed 20. Like, the process of getting 25 Fusium, and that was not the first time that I needed Fusium ore. There were instances prior to that point where I was in need of Fusium ore. In fact, you would have seen that on camera. Whether or not I actually mined for it on camera in the last recording, I don't recall. I might have done a little bit of mining then, but it was not extensive. Either way, I've needed a lot of Fusium, and yeah, I've probably spent, let's say 3 hours mining Fusium. What's frustrating about it is that there is no shortcut to getting Fusium. The best way to get it, as far as I'm aware, is high rank mining. Whether you do the village high rank mining quest or the, I guess, Port Tanzia high rank mining quest in the volcano, it seems to give the same thing, which would stand to reason. As for G rank mining in the volcano, I just don't think it's as good. I've spent a little bit of time doing both. Well, a little bit of time doing G rank and a whole lot of time doing high rank. And, yeah, high rank seems to be the best. Neither are good. This is why it's not so clear cut. That's why there might be something of a tincture of uncertainty in my voice that is indeed audible. The uncertainty originates from the fact that both fucking options suck. And, yeah, I'm now going to demonstrate to you what I'm talking about. The runs that I've been doing have been with a bare bones inventory. All I carry are mega pickaxes and farcasters. The rest is for materials that I pick up. I emptied my inventory for efficiency. I wanted to completely avoid the scenario where I couldn't take an item into my inventory and then I had to either discard it or swap it with something. That really slows down the process. If you're going to do this for a long period of time, you don't want that slowing you down. And you also, when one is engaging in what can only be described as a mindless, monotonous act of repetition, you don't really want to be thinking about things like that. It's better if you can just go from node to node, spam the A button and farcast and finish, you know, and do that over and over and over again. Seemingly until the end of all days. Oh, these whetstones I have just mined. Another element to the technique is that, well, it's not much of a technique, this is really the only way to do it. You can get Fusium from the tundra, as I understand, but I don't think that's a viable option at all. You can technically get it from there, but... Well, having said that, it also sort of feels like you can technically get it from here. What I will tell you is that you're not guaranteed to get even 1 Fusium. You know what's really funny about these fucking Rhinopolis? In the countless attempts that I have had, or the countless runs that I've actually gone on, I've never been attacked by them like that. They usually just leave me alone. I don't know what the deal is, either my, whatever they're called, Shakalakas distract them, or they just don't come after me. But of course, as soon as I'm recording, I'm basically getting molested, so there's some Fusium. What I've found is that this is the first node going up the volcano where you're actually going to get them. It may be technically possible to get it from the nodes before this one, but this is where the drop rate becomes noticeably better. If you're wondering if I'm going to die from the heat, generally my Shakalakas, I think Char-Char namely, does heal me. He'll probably heal me momentarily. And by the way, if you're wondering if the... Oh, perhaps Kayambo is healing me now. He's doing a healing dance, I think. Oh no, he's just dancing for no particular reason, which is fine. He is allowed to do that. And quite frankly, I don't really need to be healed anyway. I don't really know what you're saying, A-Gaming, but thank you for that contribution. The, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this node that I'm at right now, by the way, is something of a low rank node. It feels low rank, or at the very least it's just a lower level node. This is the one where I generally get most of my iron ore. I didn't really keep track of how much I don't think I've gotten any iron ore. I think it was 20 before, which is a little annoying, but anyway. The point is that I do get a little bit of iron ore as I do this, so I'm sort of at risk of dying. I don't know why the Shakalakas haven't healed me. Two things have taken place here that are different from the norm. No doubt because I'm actually recording. The first thing that would be different from the norm was me being attacked and savaged by those fucking Rhenoplas. And the second would be the fact that these Shakalakas have decided to abstain from healing me. And I don't care, this is fine, it saves me the Farcaster, it takes me back to camp. I was at my last node before I was going to Farcast anyway. I probably missed 2 or 3 strikes of the node, which I can live without. I don't usually get Fusium from that one anyway. The 2 nodes that I usually get Fusium from are the one just before you're taking the path up to the volcano, the one where I said that that's the first one where your drop rates are alright. And the second one of the 2 would be the first when you're going up the path. And that's what I've found. Now, I have, of course, picked up Fusium from other nodes, but statistically speaking, those are the ones where you're most likely to get them. That's what I have experienced, or rather that is what I would determine from my experience. Quite frankly, Fusium ore is fucking annoying to get. I'm telling you, things... life itself is different when you're recording. When you're just minding your own business, things just work, but as soon as you're recording, it's as if everything's against you. My Wiimote just died. I need to go and change the batteries. Anyway. I should just get a Wiimote where I can recharge the thing. I'm sure they exist, but I've got the Skyward Sword Gold Wiimote. So, you know. I guess because I'm so desperate to keep using this, I'm just going to keep putting batteries in it. And quite appropriately, quite fittingly, I also have gold batteries that I put in it. So now, I didn't go shopping around looking for gold batteries. It's just, you know, part of the marketing and merchandising of batteries is to make them look real good. Oh, golden batteries, they must really hold a charge. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, the game plotting against me, and now the fucking controller is plotting against me too. I didn't actually originally have a jacket on this thing. This is not an official... Oh no. Maybe it is an official jacket. It has Nintendo on the bottom of it. I don't think it's official. You know, they didn't originally come out with Wiimote jackets. It wasn't a thing when the Wii came out. As I recall, they started coming out with jackets because people were throwing their Wiimotes at their televisions. I mean, if you're really getting into it that hard, maybe it's time to relax. Now, it's worth mentioning that the gold appearance of this Wiimote does not look as good on account of the fact that I have chroma key enabled. It basically takes all of the green out. Oh, no, I lost my chance to get whatever that was. Oh, that's right, it was the rewards from the Gathering Quest. Am I going to miss out on this stuff? Well, who knows. I've got less than 2 minutes to do this, so... but yeah, I don't know if you can see, but the batteries are gold as well. And it's not the same shade of gold, so actually it doesn't have so much of an impact. But yeah, as I say, I do hasten to add, I did not go shopping around looking for gold batteries for my gold Wiimote, okay? Someone's going to think I'm real gaudy, you know. Well, I have a different sort of... what's the word? association in my mind when it comes to gold. I think more of, romantic, mental conjurations of ancient Egypt. That's what I think of. Alright, I've got a minute to change these batteries. I'm probably not going to make it in time. Again, the point of this is not to appraise these fucking rust shards. I've got basically every rust anything that I could ever want. I'll be back in a moment. Doomlink is so damn slow. Oh well. Ugh. Doomlink also speaks in the third person, in case you didn't know. Alright. I like how you speak in the past tense. Meanwhile, here I am in the year of 2022 putting AA batteries in my Wiimote. I bought a controller for my Xbox 360 where you can just recharge the fucking thing. And when I don't know what it was, it must have been a stroke of inspiration, like an epiphany, and I thought, I wonder if controllers exist now where you don't need to fucking put batteries in them. And I checked online and they bloody well do, and it works just like any Xbox controller I've ever used. No, excuse me, it wasn't the whole controller, it was a replacement battery pack. You could use an official Xbox controller, but you have this little battery pack that's rechargeable, and I was like, well, fuck me sideways. I bet this has existed for a long time. Think of all the wasted money on batteries, which could have been totally avoided by just having one of those rechargeable battery packs. Now, I'm fortunate in that I didn't main the Xbox 360. I mained the PS3. That's what I played mostly, but I still played a lot of Xbox, and I probably still would have sunk a lot of money into batteries, so yeah, it was one of those things. Alrighty, so we're back. What I'm actually going to do is put away all of my stuff, because I want to give you guys a better idea of just how much I'm picking up. I'm sitting on 74 Dragonite ore. This is all in... Well, I suppose this is all in one session, yeah. I think... Well, maybe it was yesterday evening session and this morning session, something like that. But anyway, I picked up a bit of stuff. I got 3 Sunspire Jewels. 3? Only 3 Sunspire Jewels. This is a rare commodity right here. This is the sort of thing that you can trade for... Oh. My box is full, apparently. Well, I'm not especially surprised to see that. I'm going to probably sell... Oh, I'm selling the Carbolite. You better believe it, baby. That is getting out of here. I value Carbolite very little. I'm actually not sorting my box because I've got some stuff from my inventory that I don't want to have to search through my box to put back in my inventory when I'm no longer willing to walk around with an empty pouch. So, yeah. And when I say no longer willing, it would be better to say when I no longer need to do that. Because I don't think it would be to anyone's benefit, and certainly not to my benefit, to enter a quest that I want to seriously undertake to complete with an empty pouch. That would be exceedingly dumb. But yeah, I'm going to purchase some mega pickaxes. Fortunately, they can be purchased from this woman. I don't know how long it takes for her to sell mega pickaxes, but it's not like after the first few quest lines. You have to get to probably... I'm going to randomly guess. We're going to guess that she sells mega pickaxes when you complete 4-star. That's what I'm going to guess. It could even be the case that she doesn't sell them until you complete low rank. I don't know, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that she doesn't. Of course, you do have access to mega pickaxes from the very beginning of the game if you're willing to travel to Port Tanzia. And it was exactly the same in Tri when you went to Lochlac. If you went to Lochlac, you would gain access to more stuff. And in fact, going all the way back to 2nd gen Monster Hunter, and indeed 1st generation, of course, yeah, back to 1st generation Monster Hunter, it was exactly the same. You'd get less stuff in the village, and then you'd go into the city mode and you'd get more. That's just how it was. I suppose it just was a barrier to those who were less adventurous. So as to only play in the village mode and not check out the city mode. There's probably a lot of people who were like that, you know, they didn't check out the city mode in any of those mainline alpha team games until they basically finished the village and they were like, oh, well, I guess I'm done with this game. Oh wait, what's this? City mode. And then they realize that that's actually the main fucking point of the game that they're playing. It's to go online and play with people and build up your character in G rank. There's like 3 ranks instead of just 1. Hey Crimson Gunner. Good to see you again. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit of mining going on, and while I do understand that it's not the most exciting thing to watch, I would like to think that I will touch upon some topic of discussion that will just be so enthralling that time is going to fly by. My expectation is that when I do finish this weapon, and I should actually add the next upgrade that is requiring all of this iron ore and fusium. That particular upgrade is not the last one, there is another one after it, and I just have to pray that it doesn't require more fusium after this, because that's really going to throw a spanner in the works. My intention is to, once I get all of those weapons, go online and use them, and then it'll basically become a standard hunt. Again, you guys don't even really need to have the vast experience that I have with mining in the volcano, which I have acquired, or rather I've accumulated experience over the last, I suppose, 48 hours. To see that those 2 nodes that I previously drew your attention to were indeed the nodes that are giving the most fusium ore. There's some iron ore. 2 iron ore, very good. I do need that. Again, I'm at this stage almost equally in need of iron ore as I am in need of fusium, but it's not a big deal if I get to, what is it, 20 fusium? Before I get to 30 iron ore, because I can just do some mining in the Moga Woods in low rank or something, and then I'll get plenty. I'll be getting a bunch of stones, earth crystals, and iron ore. So, that'll be fine. In fact, I seem to recall back in Tri that I did my earth crystal farming for all of the ancient weapons, and I suppose the rust weapons too, in Moga Woods. Ugh. Need to get my vocal resonance back. Yes. Hence the clearing of the throat. Well, I'm bringing back Monster Hunter 1 and 2 through PS Plus with backwards compatibility. Well, that would be interesting, but I don't know. I remember there were rumblings about Monster Hunter G coming out on Steam. I mean, I don't know what the fuck that was about. I do not have my finger to the pulse to the Monster Hunter community, mostly because I have no respect for any of them. Well, I'm sure that there would be a very, very small number of people within the community that I wouldn't literally consider subhuman, but I'm being very dramatic. I don't actually think of them that way. Don't take me at my word, and don't become offended yourself by what I've just said, for God's sake. There are times when you don't need to take me at my word, please. But the point is that I haven't been keeping track of that at all. So, yeah, I need to go and get a Farcaster back. I didn't need to do it last time because I'd been killed to return to camp, but this time I do need to get one back. This is the thing, I don't know when Capcom will, and I do think it's a matter of when rather than if it will ever happen, but I think Capcom will eventually re-release the original titles of Monster Hunter, but I just don't know when they're going to do it. To be completely honest, it makes very little sense that they don't do it now, because there is a community now who would buy into that, who would absolutely buy into that. And you know what, if they don't do it now, it really does speak volumes about the rank discourtesy that Capcom, and disregard that Capcom has shown to the people who played their old games, who have become disenfranchised by the direction that they've taken. They literally don't care. They're just like, well, fuck it. You know, we're not even willing to try and balance these games anymore. We're just making them super accessible and, you know, adding these gimmicks to keep people entertained because of how simple-minded they are. That we're, you know, this is very successful with this new audience, and a good chunk of people who play the old game seem to like it too, because of the very shallow way in which they consume Monster Hunter. So, you know, why the fuck should we care about you precious people who can't seem to adapt? Just keep playing those old games and fuck off. That's what Capcom says through their actions. Implicit in their behavior is that very statement. And, quite frankly, if they don't come out with anything resembling a remake of the old games, or a remaster, or whatever it would end up being, it just shows that they don't give a shit. And to be completely honest, Capcom not giving a shit about a community that plays their games is characteristic of them. It's not unusual. I'm not sitting here flawed, you know. This has not resulted in a paradigm shift in my life. I'm sitting here going, oh, Capcom is being Capcom, okay. And I do recall saying at some point in the past that we've been very lucky in the Monster Hunter series that Capcom hasn't behaved as Capcom typically does. But it's happened, you know. We've reached that point where Capcom are now being a bunch of actual dicks to the original player base of Monster Hunter. So, yeah. I mean, admittedly, they are still redeemable. They could restore my faith in their integrity. But the chances are very low, as you say, Crimson Gunner. Well, again, Ghastly Tal, what you just described is precisely why their decision not to come out with a remake or remaster of the old games is such a flippant display of disregard for the older players. You know, this is a time when they can do it, you know. They've got all that money coming in. All they have to do is... It's a nod of the head, you know, to people who can't enjoy their new games. I mean, we can be respectful about it. I can be respectful about my difference of opinion at times. And I'd feel a whole lot more inclined to do it if Capcom weren't so just blatantly disinterested in old Monster Hunter and its fan base nowadays. But yeah, they don't really give me any reason to have respect for them. So, there you go. Anyway. That's the thing, A-Gaming. I don't know if I'd want them to do remakes. Because as soon as you've got the word remake, that could mean a whole host of things. You know, to what extent are they going to remake it? The reality is, we don't really want them to remake it. We want to be able to play it on a modern system, preferably on a fucking PC, honestly. I mean, it just saves us from having to go through emulators and doing all of this. We want good PC support. You know, PC is the best way to immortalize it. Because on PC... you can still launch it on a PC, you can upgrade your PC over the years, but the point is it's not locked or married to the lifespan of a console. You know, the game I'm playing right now is married to the lifespan of a console. In what way is it essentially locked to that lifespan? It's through, for example, the online functionality. At some point next year, I suspect, the Wii U will lose all online functionality. Now, that has nothing to do with Capcom. Admittedly, I suppose I do have to admit that Capcom's willingness to keep the 3 Ultimate servers up is an example of the fact that they at least don't mind letting us continue to play it. If it had become financially burdensome for them, I'm sure they wouldn't have bothered. But, you know, with all the money coming in, it's easy for them to just let it keep going, you know. It doesn't require any effort. There's no need to cut costs for servers by shutting this down, so they keep it running. But at least they're not actively seeking to, you know, snuff us out. So, I mean, that's one good thing. They're making zero effort, but they're not actually going to the trouble of ruining our experience in the older games by shutting down the 3 Ultimate servers, for example. So, that's one good thing, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, I wonder when the 4 Ultimate servers will shut down. Probably, I would imagine that 3DS functionality with online play and Wii U online functionality will probably go at around the same time. That's the way they've sort of been doing it, you know. The 3DS and the Wii U are becoming redundant, and Nintendo are just pushing it into the past. I probably have enough Fusium. In fact, I'm almost certain that I do. I have enough Fusium. It is now time to do some Moga Woods mining. And I'm actually rather excited to do that because it'll be a change of scenery. And it'll be a touch of nostalgia for those of you who played Tri. Moga Woods mining. Very good. I don't really need my Farcaster anymore because I will have the Return to Village button, given that it will be Moga Woods mining. I don't know if it's better to do high rank mining or low rank mining, to be completely honest. I don't know what sort of difference it would make. I'll try high rank mining first. I'm sure high rank mining would be perfectly fine for iron ore, and there is every possibility that it will be better. I only need 4 more iron ore. This is very good. I might be able to do it in one go. So daytime is low rank, nighttime is high rank when it comes to heading for the Moga Woods. I don't really like that, to be completely honest. I don't like being forced to hunt at night if I want to do high rank monsters, but it's fine. I can live with that. I did buy pickaxes, I'm glad. Anyway. That's right, Ghastly Tile. Consoles are not the future of gaming, and they never should have been the present of gaming, except when nobody knew any better. I think gaming should have just moved to PC permanently, as far back as the 90s, to be completely honest. I mean, PC gaming in the 90s was great as well, but it's because there's so much money to be made on consoles. You know, companies can make more money by forcing people to get their consoles and their games, you know. And I suppose there would be money involved in getting people to develop for your system as well. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know much about the industry, but what is absolutely clear is that okay, I think I'm going to be able to get the iron ore that I need. I've got a sneaking suspicion that I'll be able to manage that. But, yeah. This is good news. I'll be able to get my next upgrade very soon. But yeah, obviously console gaming has only been perpetuated for financial reasons. Which is why anything exists, really, and continues to exist. It's a matter of whether it is financially viable or not financially viable. Leave me alone. I do find Giggies to be rather cute. There's just something about them. Maybe not when they suck my blood and become really big. Maybe they're a little bit gross at that point, but come on. I just find them to be rather adorable. Oh, you poor thing. Look at you. He's knocked out. That just makes me sad. Look at him. He's just sort of... Oh, no. Goodbye. I'm covering the little... I don't know how to refer to it. There's a little... I guess pop-up window that indicates that you've killed the enemy. It tells you, you know, how many you've killed in total. And all of that. I've got enough iron ore. Let's return. And it also tells you how many resource points you have accumulated from that kill, as well as how many resource points you have in total. It would be so much easier just to allow you to see it, rather than have me explain it in deep detail. Oh, it was your first Monster Hunter tile? For Ultimate. It's not a bad one to start on, honestly. Back when 4 Ultimate came out, I would have not recommended a person to start with 4 Ultimate, but nowadays, looking at where the series has gone, look, 4 Ultimate is fucking perfectly respectable. Like, a perfectly respectable first Monster Hunter game. You can very comfortably go backwards from there. And, you know, 4 Ultimate's a good game, definitely. Hindsight really does change things. Perspective is an important thing. I'm ready to go. Now this is a moment of truth because I hope that the next upgrade will not require something annoying to get. We'll see. It's the moment of truth. What is it? Iron ore? Oh my god. I hope you guys are ready. It's not going to take too long, and I'm glad that I've got the meld spar that I need. Again, this is a G rank ore, so I do have some of it, at least. But 50 iron ore, this is becoming a little insulting, but it's alright. This is indeed the last upgrade, Progenesis. Just need a bit of iron ore, that's all. We're going to be doing some Moga Woods mining. I probably should have continued that mining run and seen it through to its completion. Well, so many people do A-gaming, and there's a lot of respect that I have for people who started in World and Rise and actually go backwards. Those people are respectable, really, because it's so easy to just not bother. Most people who started in Rise have gone backwards because there's not enough to keep people interested in that game. At least referring to the original high rank version of it. People became so disinterested with Rise so quickly that they just started going back to Generations Ultimate because it was on the same system. And then I have found that Generations Ultimate became something of a gateway for people into old Monster Hunter, and that's not a bad thing at all. I think that while Generations Ultimate is a steaming pile of shit in certain regards, I'm not forced to engage with those aspects. Like, I don't have to use Valor Heavy Bowgun. I don't have to simplify my armor crafting experience by using Neset and only Neset. You know, those sorts of things. It's fine for people to have access to that sort of thing, but it's my choice whether or not I want to engage with that. So, yeah. Now I can walk around and complain that I see the same armor sets every time I play with other people, but you know, that's other people. They can do whatever they want to do in the game. It does not negatively impact my ability to play if some other person's using a Neset build. It's fine. So, I guess that really is my chief grievance with 5th generation Monster Hunter. Things have changed to the extent where I can't choose to play traditionally anymore. Seriously, I played Generations Ultimate with the full intention of not touching styles outside of guild style until perhaps Hunter Rank 999. And I've been Hunter Rank 999 for a number of months now, probably 6 months. And I still haven't bothered to move on from guild style. I just wanted to continue my 4 Ultimate experience. That's all I wanted with Generations Ultimate. I don't need to be flying around through the air or countering attacks from enemies with a fucking longsword or running around with my heavy bowgun, my so-called heavy bowgun. I don't need to pick it up and run around with it, incidentally. So I'm pretty content with guild style, and that's what I've done. I'm actually rather averse to calling it guild style at all. I'd rather just call it no style. I would prefer that if someone were to ask me, what style do you use, I could comfortably say, I don't use styles. But technically you do, because guild style is a style. So, there you go. I do use Hunter Ants because I don't think that they have that much bearing on the combat or the end result of the hunt, but admittedly it does depend on the weapon type. You do have some Hunter Ants that really do change the game. Like, I don't know, the one for Insect Glaive, I keep forgetting what it's called. It's the one that basically fills your 3 colors just by launching your Kinsect at the monster and getting it to hit successfully. It just gets all of them. All 3 colors. Now that's a bit stupid, don't you think? I use it because I can't resist the temptation, but that's a good example of Capcom just being like, what? So obviously we've designed this weapon to be balanced around the idea that you're going to do a certain amount of damage with it when you've got no colors, and then as you work, as you actually physically take the time to find what point of the monster gives what color, and you actually get the Kinsect to go to each part of the monster and get all those colors, then as a reward for your work, you're then given quite a significant damage boost. Well, how about we just fucking bypass that whole thing, throw that balance out the door, and just give it to you automatically? How about we do that? That is literally the mindset that led to fucking 5th gen. We saw it rearing its ugly head for the first time in late 4th gen. In the form of styles. We could also say that it might have first appeared in Frontier, but Frontier was always separate from mainline Monster Hunter. Frontier could be a complete anime mess and I wouldn't give a damn because that's Frontier. But you start bringing that shit into Generations Ultimate, and of course Generations as well, and I'm going to start getting a little concerned. I've said this many times before, and in fact, long before Rise was the twinkle in the eye of a sperm cell, I was expecting... that's, you know, the most hyperbolic statement one could ever make, by the way. Yeah, my expectation was that Monster Hunter was going to go in the Frontier direction, and I was worried about that. I was sitting here going, oh fuck, I don't want Monster Hunter to become Frontier, please stop. And then 5th gen came, and I'm sitting here begging for fucking Frontier, by comparison. I want Frontier, please give me that. Whatever 5th gen is, I don't want this. I want Frontier. Get this shit out. I want to run around with my greatsword at this point. Just like I can in Frontier. At least that game feels Japanese. Fucking hell. Anyway. Well, I don't want to send myself into a discussion about 5th gen. It would be perfectly reasonable to have a lengthy discussion about the changes that were made to Monster Hunter in 5th gen, but I've talked about that at such painstaking length and in such detail hitherto that I just can't fucking bring myself to do it anymore. And I inevitably get emotional about it too, because I care so much about Monster Hunter, and I guess the mindless nature of some of the changes alongside many Monster Hunter players' willingness to accept those changes really sends me into a fucking frenzy. I get so frustrated by it. I've genuinely lost my cool on camera over some of it. Like, I actually get genuinely fucking angry and I'm yelling. Like, that's how angry some of it makes me. But I've moved on from that, you know. This is going back to when I divorced Monster Hunter World for the 50th time. Because I tried to like that game. I gave that game so many chances to win me over. And I've said this before, I've never given a game more chances to win me over than I did with Monster Hunter World, because I wanted so desperately to become infatuated with that game. And rather than become infatuated, I felt like I was in an abusive relationship with that fucking game. It was both everything I dreamed of and my worst fucking nightmare all mixed into one fucking game. It looked so beautiful. You know, it's a Monster Hunter game that looks beautiful. Oh, the animations, literally I could cream just looking at them. Next thing you know, I start delving into the game and I realize that it is fundamentally retarded. Fundamentally retarded. And that hurts, man. That really does hurt. And I just... what can I say? It just hurt more and more. Every time I went back, I was hurting. It was an abusive relationship through and through. That is the best comparison that I can draw. People probably think that I was out to fucking demonize World from the very beginning. You know, I'm so vitriolic and hate-filled whenever World comes up that people probably just assume that I had a chip on my shoulder from the moment that I saw that there was going to be a Monster Hunter game that was releasing on a mainline system that was obviously going to be more accessible. To paraphrase myself, in 2017 when it was first announced, I said, I realize that there are going to be some changes. But you know what? I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to take it on board and I'm going to do whatever I can to enjoy it and adapt. I did that. I really, really did that. And I failed. I completely failed to adapt. And not only did I fail to adapt, I was left so fucking disgusted that in, I think it was mid-2019, sometime around June or July of 2019, I uninstalled the PC version of World and committed to never launch the game ever again. And I've become a happier person since then. Now, the saga of Rise was... well, let's just say that I only needed about 7 days to never launch that game ever again. That's because I'd gone from one abusive relationship, like I'd already experienced the first abusive relationship, and then I found another girl, if we're gonna keep with this fucking analogy. I found another partner, and as soon as I could sense all of the hallmarks of the previous abusive relationship, I was ready to go. I was ready to move on. Fuck it, like I'm not dealing with that shit. And quite frankly, I found the issues to be even more egregious, because they had so almost wantonly charged through in the direction that World had gone into, except in a much less subtle way. They were literally like, well, fuck, heavy bow gun? Yeah. You can just be fully mobile with that now. And Hunting Horn literally, well, no. Get off this subject and stop it. You hopeless man. You just can't fucking help yourself every time. I'm gonna stop it there, sorry. Not to be a killjoy. But, I can't allow myself to get on this subject again. My friend Ethan told me that I need to sit down and make a really comprehensive recording of my opinion on the Monster Hunter series in the context of 5th gen. And I very seriously considered it, and I realized that I can't do it. I can't actually put myself back in the 5th gen headspace to be able to fairly compare 5th gen to old Monster Hunter. Because you can't half-ass it. You can't just have a partial understanding of 5th gen. An understanding that has become partial on account of an almost amnesia-esque loss of memory of 5th gen aspects due to profound displeasure from the experience of playing it. You know, I literally blocked some of it out because it was fucking traumatizingly bad. But yeah. Yeah, I removed that beta. I think, what was it? That's what it was. The title of the video you're referring to, beta, I didn't literally remove it, I made it private, I think. It was... The title of the video of me ranting about Rise was Day 2 of Monster Hunter Rise and Doom Link is restless. The game had been out for 2 days. Well, not even, it had been out for 1 day. It had not yet been a full 2 days, and I had spent about an hour and a half live just ranting about it. Like, in depth. And it's no longer on the channel because I didn't want Rise content to be on my channel. I'm happy to have world content on my channel. I can live with that. There's still world stuff on my channel from 2018. But Rise, that is such a repulsive excuse for an iteration in the series that I didn't want that on my channel. So yeah, I mean, I think really World was a straight from the heart, genuine attempt from Capcom to make something that Western audiences would love, you know? They put their heart into it. They genuinely cared about World. Not when it came to the weapon designs, no. And not when it came to the sound effects or the music or anything like that. The things that really made Monster Hunter just that little bit more special than other games in the past. But when it came to everything else, they cared a lot. But Rise was a fucking... That was a dead-on-arrival video game, with no soul. People thought it had soul because it looked a bit more... It looked and felt a bit more, you know, JRPG than World did. And so people were suckered into the opinion that, oh, this has more of the Monster Hunter's style and flavor. Well, guess what? You got suckered into it. You absolutely got conned. And I'm so sorry that you got conned. Because it wasn't that at all. They had gone in the same direction as World, to the extreme. The only thing that changed was that they put a new dress on it. They pretended to make it look more Japanese and JRPG-like. It fucking wasn't. Not at all. But, anyway. But yeah. It was what it was. I look at it as a thing of the past now. It's not part of my world anymore. The only reason why I still discuss it is because it's what exists now. It's what a lot of people play now. It doesn't exist within my frame of experience in Monster Hunter because I don't play those games, but it will always be a relevant topic of discussion for the reason that it is still referred to as Monster Hunter. As much as I hate that. And people still enjoy it and play it, so... I think it would be faster to just return to Village after I exhaust the mining nodes contained within Area 4. Because there's no guarantee that nodes will exist in the other areas that I venture through, so don't go to daytime. Well, let's see what we can do in low rank. I didn't actually intend to go to daytime, but this will be an opportunity to see Moga Woods in all its splendor. This is a beautiful location. When Tri came out, I will never forget first coming through here. And look, oh, I just got the shivers right there. That just went right through me. This fucking scenery doesn't mean much these days. It really doesn't mean much these days, but you have to understand that going from playing Freedom Unite on the PSP to launching Monster Hunter on the Wii, coming up here, you get the introduction music playing, and you see this. It was amazing. It was 3rd gen Monster Hunter. If you were to launch the game on a Wii today, in that fucking 480p resolution, and walked up there for the first time, it probably wouldn't have much impact for you. But at the time, in 2010, that was a special moment. And I'll never forget that. Tri was a very special experience for me. Of all the games I've ever played, I have the most sentimental attachment to Tri. And Beta eloquently says, "Deserted Island slaps." It sure does, doesn't it? That's one way to describe it. Fuck. This is quite negligent of me. I've not been purchasing pickaxes. I've been regrettably drinking from this angle, which is like directly in line with the camera, which just doesn't look good. I'm not sitting here trying to present myself well, but when you do watch back the recording, you go, oh, well, I probably shouldn't do that. That looks a bit weird. So there is an element of presentation when you are on camera. I don't mean for there to be anything, you know. I'm not sitting here performing, you know, but when you watch yourself back, you do realize that there are some things that look good and some things that don't. So you do try to avoid doing certain things. Even though that might not be quite so authentic. You're not getting the authentic sitting in the living room with Doomlink experience, okay? Because Doomlink is actively avoiding doing certain things that look weird in the webcam, but you know, fuck it. I'll probably need to get more beer. I can sense it. Oh. Ask and you shall receive. This came as a genuine surprise. I had forgotten that I had more beer. Now, I'm not sure about that amount of froth. That's a bit excessive, isn't it? Really, now. We are almost done with our mining. I realise that this is not exciting, not even remotely, but we are 3 iron ore away from having the last weapon that I was wanting to make for use with my new armor set. And I'm fucking excited. It took about 3 days of work. 3 days of sitting down and playing 3 Ultimate to get it done. And it would have taken a whole lot more time if I hadn't put so much time into the game already to get through all the G rank upgrades. It's mostly been low rank and high rank work that I've had to undertake. And it's been good. It's always nice to have something to work on with a well-built character. And to be completely honest, I still view this character to be far from as well-built as my Tri character. The reason why I've played this game since 2013, it's almost been 10 fucking years since I made this character. The reason why this character feels less well-built than my Tri character, which I played on between, you know, that was like a 3-year-long character, that one. The reason why is because I absolutely played the shit out of that game. I lived on that game for 2 years. Lived on it. It was a daily thing. I was obsessed. I wouldn't go so far as saying that I needed help, but, you know, I was very much committed to playing that game a lot. And that has always been my benchmark for committing oneself to a Monster Hunter game, or really committing oneself to anything when it comes to video games, you know. I really built that fucking character. And I have never had that desire to work on even a Monster Hunter game to that degree since. I think I burnt myself out on trying, well, I say I think. I have spent the last 10 years saying, without question, that I burnt myself out by playing Tri as much as I did. I literally went from the opposite of a casual to being a casual because I couldn't summon the strength to care anymore. I was like, well, fuck it. Like, I don't want to do it, man. I don't want to bring my might pills. I don't want to use Trapmaster anymore for speed setup. I don't want to do it. I want to use evasion +2. I don't want to use evasion +1. I'm just going to not time my evades anymore. That was me. Like immediately after try. Because I'd done that too much. I'm not going to use adrenaline anymore. Etc, etc. Alright. I'm now going to shed my skin as a filthy gatherer. I'm going to equip my other set. But before doing that, I think I'm going to recover my old stuff. So here we go. All of this business. It seems that I'm missing a little bit. No, not that. I want all of it. Give me all of it. Okay, I still need to get some stuff back. So what do we need? We need you. We need... Stop it. We need you. You. Definitely you. I say that as if I'm almost certainly going to die. I don't know why I said that. Maybe that's my subconscious speaking. My subconscious mind doesn't have much faith in Doom Link. I'm missing the talons, or charms, whatever they are. I only... well, of course I did have some before, but that's not all of them. Oh no, it is all of them. I'm actually losing my mind. I was under the misapprehension that I had only taken either 3 or 4 or 2 or 4. But I had taken 4 or 4. And it would do me well to pay a little bit more attention next time. I'm surprised that I had the space in my box to put all this shit away, to be completely honest. I mean, I almost didn't have the space. Oh, my goal, Beta Star, and I tell you this not just for your benefit, certainly for your benefit, but for the benefit of any person who actually doesn't know. I had spent quite some time making this armor set. This armor set took as long as it took, because I needed to make the Arshan Greaves, which required 3 long fragments, which fucking suck to get, and I finally made the set about 3 days ago, or 4 days ago. I'm not keeping track of the days, just so that you know. And what then flowed from that was the immediate need to start making Lance and Gun Lance awakened weapons. I suppose the real need for this sort of thing is being in endgame and wanting more options when hunting monsters, and I wanted to extend my awakened gameplay, which I had already begun with this armor set and this armor set, to Lancers and Gun Lancers. Indeed, I do have an awakened Greatsword set, because the Greatsword weapon type is the type of weapon that I would want specific skills for. The same can be said for Lance and Gun Lance. I use my standard set here for Longsword, Sword and Shield, Dual Blades, and Switch Axe. Those 4 weapons can very easily be used without specific skills designed for them. Whereas in the case of Lance, Gun Lance, and Greatsword, it's a little harder to at least feel good using an armor set that is not specifically designed to accommodate those weapon types. Needless to say, in the case of Greatsword, you're looking at focus and things of that sort. Oh, of course, there is another set, the Awakened Hammer set. Fairly self-explanatory. Focus and Knockout King. Oh, I don't have focus on this set. Never mind, I'm talking out of my arse. High-grade earplugs and Knockout King in this case, because Greatsword and Hammer really do need a full resistance to the flinch of monster roars, because if you don't have that, you're really castrating yourself, to be completely honest, because the reality is that Greatsword and Hammer are opportunity-based weapon types. Greatsword for the reason that it takes quite some time to get to charge level 3, and hammer for the reason that you're aiming for the head. A monster roar is an opportunity that you need to make use of, and you can't make use of that opportunity if you're standing there with your palms pressed to your ears. So, high-grade earplugs is very important. Why high-grade earplugs instead of Rocksteady or earplugs? It is because I don't have to make multiple armor sets for different use case scenarios. High-grade earplugs is fully functional irrespective of the monster that I hunt. The limited number of equipment set slots necessitates this sort of catch-all strategy when it comes to forging, or rather, organizing and crafting armor sets. So yeah, I finally made this set. Not this set, this set. I mean, this set's very good too. But this is the one, ladies and gentlemen, that I recently made, and I'm very pleased to say that I have every Awakened Weapon 4 lance and gun lance that I really wanted to make. And, you know, it cost me a bit of money, but I had max money, so I'm still certainly, well, let's say, I'm very rich. What should I use first? I don't know, you know what I'll do? I'll equip this for now, because this is the last one that I made. I associate this weapon very much with Portable Third. This is a very common weapon in Portable Third, always has been. Gunlance was a big thing in Portable Third, not only because Gunlance had become so dynamic as of the release of Portable Third, keeping in mind Gunlance didn't exist in Tri, so we didn't get to see what 3rd Gen Gunlance was until Portable Third, and once people saw what it was, there was a lot of excitement. And I was one of those people who was pretty excited. And there is a second reason why Gunlance took the center stage in Portable Third, and that was due to a little glitch with the Auto Guard skill. Basically, at any time you were shelling with the weapon, or not attacking, well, what I should say, whenever you were not attacking with the lance part of the weapon, either standing still or shelling, the Auto Guard would take effect. Now, the standing still part is fairly obvious for Auto Guard, but the fact that you could shell whenever the fuck you wanted, and still Auto Guard at any time, really made Auto Guard Gunlance, particularly with something that could shell to considerable effect, was really strong and heavily used, very commonly used. Thank you, Beta. It is now time for us to see what's happening in the online. I'm sort of, I'm banking on this. If there's no one to play with, there's a problem, but I guess I can just hunt alone in the worst case scenario. Oh, 6 people, okay. Am I going to get lucky? U-turn, okay. 299 at Hunter rank 999 has, in a show of charity, decided to make a room for other people to post their quests. Now, what are the chances of a Hunter rank 999 player at this stage in the game's lifespan being a legitimate Hunter rank 999? They're pretty low, but as long as this person doesn't literally one-shot monsters, we'll be okay. I'm going to live with it. I'm not going to sit here and demand that this person prove that they have legitimately reached Hunter rank 999. It is very hard to reach 999 in this game, unless you're doing 4-point formation. A lot of people have done that. A lot of people have spent a few months grinding that quest with a good team. And when they do that, they will reach Hunter rank 999. But if you're just playing the game normally, it takes a really long time. You know, I'm 1,200 hours into this game, and I'm Hunter rank 479. compare that to Generations Ultimate, where I am Hunter Rank 999 in that game and I have less time there than I do here. I have hunted in pretty much the same way across those two games. You know, I don't spend that time dicking around in quests that don't give me Hunter Rank points. I do actually hunt properly and get Hunter Rank points in both games. This game just takes a long fucking time to Hunter Rank up in, and the same was the case with Monster Hunter Tri. And that's the better way to do things, to be honest. I don't have my keyboard on hand. In fact, I'll go and get it. I've been disconnected. Why? This is the problem with Hunter Rank 999 people. They are so fucking impossible to understand. Like, I don't know what caused this person to kick me. My guess, now this is going to sound really crazy. To those of you who are uninitiated in the ways of dealing with people who play this game too much, you can do something very, very slightly out of order and they'll just kick you immediately. What was out of order in this case was the fact that I did not say hello back in response to this person. The reason why I didn't is because I didn't have my keyboard on hand. You know, fucking hang me, why don't you? I would not hunt with this person unless I had no other choice, and I have no other choice. So, this keyboard is my PC keyboard, not the keyboard I use for this game. So I'm going to have to actually get that keyboard, bring it here, and then try to join that room again and communicate with this person. And even then, I might have made an irreparable error. You know, I have now transgressed to the extent where nothing that I do, whether I prostrate myself on my hands and knees before this person and beg for forgiveness, doesn't matter. Not having said hi might result in instant kick even if I go back. So, you know, I don't want to sound dramatic, guys, but I'm serious. This is how things are. This is how things are with these people. The person said hola. You know, I'm not speaking your damn language. I mean, imagine having the temerity to kick someone on that basis when there's literally no one playing the fucking game. I mean, are you that self-centered? Are you so sensitive that you're going to prevent me from playing with other people just because I didn't say hi in the allotted time that you had arbitrarily set? Unless you closed the room, that's possible. Maybe the person closed the room. The person closed the room. Okay. So in the end, everything that I just said was not the reality I was experiencing right here and now. But I'm telling you, it would not have been out of order for me. Well, not out of the ordinary. It would have been out of order, but it wasn't out of the ordinary that I was kicked in a room in that sort of way. And I have plenty of video evidence of very strange interactions and altercations with high-ranked people in this game. I don't know what is going on here. There are people to play with, possibly. U-turn. Okay, well, let's give it another try, mate. I'm giving you another try. Again, this whole recording is in the hands of this person. So I'm going to say hello very quickly, okay? I'm going to say hi. Hi. I'm going to innocently greet you and pray that you don't disconnect me, okay? I got a hi in response. That's a good start. Fucking hell. Anyway. But yeah, I'm literally at this person's mercy. This person is going to determine whether or not I can play the game online with someone. I've been told to post a quest, so I shall do so. In short order, lest I get kicked. What would be fun? An advanced quest of some description. How about this? Swift Shadows. Fun enough. So we're currently using a slime gun lance. the stats are pretty good. I'm happy with this. I don't have artillery, novice, or expert here, but I do have guard +2 and guard boost, so perfectly appropriate for gunlands. Oh god. Well, no, actually, I'd beg to differ. In response to when I was talking about the authentic sitting in the living room with Doomlink experience, this person says, to get the authentic sitting on the couch in the living room experience, it needs at least 2 farts, one of which has to be a loud killer. I was referring specifically to the Doomlink experience. Now, the authentic guys gaming requires Cheetos, licking of fingers, farts, soft drinks, and nerdy laughter. And I can tell you with considerable force that none of those things are present in the experience that relates to me personally, okay? This is not the authentic Doomlink experience. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to that. And I take great pleasure in the fact that my experience with gaming with multiple people wasn't like that either. So, there you go. I just hung out with better people, what can I say? You know what? This is pretty cool. I don't think it spins like this in Portable Third. It might. I just haven't recently used it in Portable Third. Maybe it does spin like this, but this is very cool. You can't deny that. I'd totally forgotten that it's spun like this. I'm 2-manning with Mr. Huntering 999. I will paintball you and I'll go and hunt with the other guy. I'm not really in the business of soloing monsters when I'm here to literally hunt with other people. That would be really stupid. I could have just as easily gone and fucking played in the village if I wanted to solo. But yeah, we should get through this reasonably quickly. Oh, we've got 2 people running slime. That's a little bit unnecessary, isn't it? I do love the sound of this gun lance when it makes contact with monsters. That's one thing that I suppose some people don't notice. It is the fact that every single weapon in the game when you're playing a Monster Hunter game, and I do mean a real Monster Hunter game, not a 5th gen one, a different sound will be made. Every weapon has its own sound, not just when it makes contact with an enemy, or with a monster in this case, but just the sound of it swinging through the air. It is a different sound every time, and I love it. It's so good. This one has a bit of a high-pitched sound, sort of gives the impression of something very aerodynamic and sleek. Hey Hossein. Congratulations on hitting Hunter Rank 800 in Generations Ultimate Beta. I should Wyvern Fire, given the opportunity is here for me to do so. Got a flinch out of it. How did I end up with this debuff? I believe... Oh. Look, I began that sooner than it might have appeared that I began that. I made the input quite some time before my character actually did it, but anyway. Yeah, I wasn't able to do anything about that tail slam because of that. I didn't end up eating for this quest, I do realise that. I am tempted to use a Mega Potion. I may or may not do it. I can live with not using one, but... yeah. Hello. How do you do, you puke-coloured Nagakuga? This particular gun lance only has 2 shots, probably means it's a wide type. Is that right? Yes. Usually wide has a small number of shots. If you have a whole... yeah, so you should have dunged the monster that started off in this area. This guy's hunter rank 999 and he still doesn't realise that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, look at this. Oh no, fortunately he didn't come this way. It looked like he was going to. But that happens all the time, you know, you dung the one that just joins, and then the one that was originally in the area leaves, and then the one that just joined then leaves as well, and they both end up in the same area again. I've witnessed that enough times to have learnt better. So, yeah, really. It is what it is. I'm not happy to be doubling down on slime here, but whatever. Bright bath green, yes. Can I get a good old slam? Ugh. I got the slam, but I didn't get the follow-up, which is really what it's all about. The slam is lovely, but when you can finish it off with a coup de grace, that's very nice. And that was some vague attempt at French pronunciation which fell flat on its face, but... yeah, I felt that it was better to draw attention to it than pretend... oh, I didn't bring fucking whetstones. Great. Awesome. Challenge run, guys. No whetstones. Holy god. I cannot shoot my gunlance for the rest of this fucking hunt. Otherwise I'm going to be bouncing like no tomorrow. I cannot believe that I have subjected myself to this stupidity. The worst thing, I mean, very few people get to experience this, but bringing, or rather failing to bring whetstones to a hunt really is the worst thing in the world. You don't think it spins in Portable Third? Well, that would concur with my recollections, because I don't recall this thing spinning in Portable Third. It's very cool. I think I know where you've ended up. Oh no, you actually might have gone to your weak area. Unless you've gone somewhere else entirely. Let's find out. No, you have gone to your weak area. Very good. That's quite alright. I'm very frustrated with the fact that I don't have whetstones right now. How's my sharpness at this point? Oh no, that'll be fine. I don't have to worry about dropping down to yellow sharpness. I've got a lot of green. Normally that would be totally irrelevant, but it becomes relevant when you do forget your fucking whetstones, so... yeah. I can try to gather whetstones. Well, I don't want to misrepresent myself to this hunt rank 999 person. I do prioritize the hunt. I don't want to be going around gathering while there are only 2 of us here. So, yeah, I will focus on fighting the monsters so as not to confuse this person, really. And if I were to, imagine if I were to say, BRB mining for whetstones, or gathering for whetstones. I mean, if I'm going to go to the trouble of saying that, I'd be better off just asking for them. So, yeah, I think I'll be alright. I'll manage. I'll get through it. At least I've got... wait, do I? No, I think I've only got sharpness +1. Yeah, I don't actually have razor sharp. I have razor sharp on my regular gunlance set, but not this one. Oh god. Yeah, the Samus light bow gun is pretty cool in Double Cross. I haven't made it, I don't know much about it, but it definitely looks cool. And using it, obviously, using it in conjunction with the actual armor set is very cool. I don't know how it functions, but I'll tell you what. Oh, it looks like we've got a pitfall down. Yeah, I don't know how it functions, but I did make the Berg Basher. the Duramboros heavy bowgun because it had a funny name. So, you know, if I'm willing to make a bowgun because it's got a funny name, you'd better believe I would be willing to make a bowgun because it looks cool. So I should give it a try. Are you shitting him? Okay, well. I keep forgetting what the order is. Maybe they swapped the order when it comes to Green Knight Cougar. I don't care anymore, I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of individual monsters having different states of being that they need to be in to fall in a fucking pitfall trap. I'm sick of it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound so un-Monster Hunter player-esque, but seriously, I'm over it. And they keep changing it. We've been over this. I discussed this in the previous recording. Well, I should... it was good of me to go for the shield there, but I would have survived had I been a little more risky. No, I shouldn't be backhopping to close the distance, not with a gun lance. I've only got 2 backhops before I need to wait for my, I guess, invisible stamina to regenerate. You know, there's like a stamina... I'm not going to get into details, you know what I mean when I say that. If you don't, then it doesn't matter. You don't need to know. It's not integral to the viewing experience for you to understand what I just said, so we're going to move on. That should have been a successful flash bomb. But I guess it came slightly too early. It would have been a fucking crisp flash bomb had it actually worked. That's not a criticism, it's just, you know, an observation. I'm not much of a flash bomber myself, so I'm pretty easy to please, but seriously, that would have been very nice. Yeah, if this guy is wondering why it's taking so long, it's because I haven't fucking sharpened my weapon. Because I cannot. Now, unfortunately, failed flash bombs can indeed result in momentary blindness, which can be entirely unconducive to hunting a monster that is trying to kill you. But the good thing about 3rd generation is that they changed flash bombs to actually create a brief negative filter on the visuals, instead of actually covering the whole screen in white, literally making you blind. You do not become blinded by flash bombs in this game. The only way that you can blind someone with a flash bomb past 2nd generation is by dropping smoke bombs and then flashing. Then you get white. And it's pretty funny. Oh shit. I just realized something. I hope you didn't get any Discord notifications coming through during the recording. It's possible, because again, I'm not recording system audio, but that day when I got Discord notifications coming through on my live stream, even though I wasn't recording system audio, that has not been resolved. I still don't know how that happened, and quite frankly, it can still happen now, so I am worried about that. It could have technically happened during this recording, so... Hey, Vernon. I do apologize to this guy for the fact that this has taken so fucking long. It really is not his fault, it's entirely my fault. I joined a quest without having eaten and without bringing whetstones while using a Blade Master weapon. A gun lance at that. One of the weapons that consumes sharpness the fastest among the Blade Master weapon types. So, yeah, pretty fucking stupid of me, hey? Are you gonna flash bomb? No. Can I get it out? Yeah. Sure can. Sorry for hitting you there, but it was for a wyvern fire. You might forgive me under those circumstances. I'm sure he's now resolved that I am an embarrassingly shit hunter for how long this has taken, but One could also say that I'm an embarrassingly shit hunter for not having actually brought whetstones, but I do have a defense. It is that I emptied my inventory entirely and then refilled it, but I happened to forget one of the most important additions to any hunter's inventory. Unless, of course, they're gunning. And some would say that you should keep it in your inventory at all times anyway. To which I would respond to them by saying, well, there is a gunner pouch in this game, so actually no. If you're gunning, you shouldn't have whetstones in your inventory. At that point, you really are wasting your time. What if he's using slicing? Well, that's not how that works in this game. You don't use slicing in this game, and I don't even know if you use whetstones to combine for it here. But yeah, don't use slicing, please. It didn't become viable until the 4th gen. Oh. Okay, well, I'm really sorry to hear that then. To be completely honest, I don't think I'd want to repeat that verbally. It's a very serious thing to happen for you, so... yeah, I think I would rather keep that to myself, but... or just to the audience, the live audience, that's not in the VOD. But yeah, that's really concerning. I hope you're doing alright. I suppose you might be doing alright physically, but certainly not emotionally. That would be fucking terrifying. But anyway. It wouldn't be the first thing that you've gone through, at least to my knowledge, that was extreme and terrifying and difficult. But yeah, I do wish you all the best. I'm going to feel a whole lot better about the next hunt, because I will actually have whetstones. I'm looking forward to being able to hunt with whetstones again. I'm hunt rank 480. God damn. I'm assuming that he will do one of two things. He will either kick me from the room for being bad, or he will tell me to post again. Nagakugashan, don't remove it, sell it, man. I don't want it. I will continue to post quests. We will change weapons, but I will first check what quests I do have on the board. How about we do Pink Raytheon and Azure Rathalos? The appropriate element for this will be Dragon. I've already used the Deviljho Lance on camera with this set before, so I will actually go and use this, the Stygian Avariscia. A gun lance that I have never used in this game, but have indeed used in 4 Ultimate. Which is interesting, but unsurprising, because I only just now made an Awakened gun lance set. Keeping in mind that, as I said previously, and when I say previously I mean in the last recording, Stygian Zinogre started off as being more of an Awakened weapon type. Or, well, as far as his weapons go, they are mostly Awakened based. Which did not remain the case in 4th gen. Put that voucher away. Now, am I missing anything else in my inventory? I think, yeah, I need some null berries, that's right. Can't go on the quest without my null berries, my trusty null berries. How's my ore doing? I've got a lot of stones, I'm happy with that. I've got a lot of fire stones. I don't know if I need 2 stacks of fire stones. I definitely don't need 2 stacks of carbolite. Can you get out of my inventory, you piece of shit? Thank you. I've got 1 fusium, wow. I don't know how I feel about a whole slot in my inventory being taken up by 1 thing, but I'll let it be for now. Well, that's very interesting to see. Full Yeah. Well, that's actually very appropriate. That's a lovely greatsword set. Yeah, it takes me back to Tri. Full Gem Moran with a greatsword. Particularly the Alatreon Revolution, as it was called back in Tri, which is now the Alteos Evolutia, as I recall. But, anyway. We're using another wide gun lance here. And this time we... No. No, you fucking idiot. You absolute fucking idiot. You forgot whetstones again. How have you done this to yourself? How can you be so manifestly retarded? You absolute dick. You are beyond all forgiveness. You stupid asshole. Should I just ask him for whetstones at this point? Should I just lay myself bare and say, hey man, I don't have whetstones, can I please have 5? I can't believe I've done this. I literally, I had assumed that I immediately got whetstones or something, and then I started looking for all the things that I might need in addition to whetstones, but I managed to do that whilst simultaneously forgetting to bring whetstones. This is not a good start to the quest. We're dealing with both of them at the same time. We should have started with Raytheon in her area. That was a very good flash bomb. I just can't fucking believe that I've done this to myself. Vernon's here. Okay, well. That's always nice, but I'm a bit worried about how long this quest is going to take. I can't shoot my gun lance at all. I have to try and conserve my sharpness as best I can. That will negatively impact my effectiveness a little bit, but it's not like the gun lance is totally ineffectual when it's... God, this guy is like a... This guy is a second gen tier flash bomber. What is going on? I need to aim for the weak point so that I can deal as much damage without expending so much of my sharpness in so doing. I need to be as efficient as possible. That is what is required of me at this point. It would help if I were to bring either Char-Char or Kyambo as well, but... Well, I did actually press the button to shield in time, but apparently I didn't actually do that in time, because had I done it in time, I would have successfully shielded. So that's the end of that. Leave me alone, you stupid pink bitch. Well, I was ready to shield it if it were on target, and I think she's gonna get me on the raw, you fucking cunt! Seriously, there's nothing I can do at that point, is there? I cannot see... Well, I know what happened there. Somehow, she... I mean, you really can't blame me, can you? I mean, that sequence of events was completely and utterly outside of my control. There's nothing I could have done there. I was hit by a tail flip during the raw flinch, and then I was stunned and got hit by what appeared to be a third tail flip, because I was hit by the second. So, what the fuck? I'm becoming rather fulsomely reminded of the fact that Pink Raytheon is a waste of space. So... that would be very sad, Beta. I'd probably cry. I'd cry myself to sleep, in fact, because it's a bit late in the evening. It's midnight, 12:34. Maybe not late for some people, but I happen to have a functioning sleep schedule. So, yeah. The temptation to hit you, Mr. Mellings, is palpable, but I do need to value my weapon's stamina, my weapon's sharpness, rather. Good timing to lose sharpness, indeed. Oh, antidote was stolen. I think I'll be alright. I do need antidotes, certainly, but I can lose just that one. Come to think of it, I don't think I've actually upgraded this armor set at all. The defense still happens to be okay, like it's passable. Link has visited the port. I think I know him. I think I've seen him before. Like over a long period of time. He's a name I recognize from some time ago. There are still occasionally people that you play with here that you have that you recognize over a long period of time. You know you've seen the name a long time ago. I think Link might be one of those people. I'm not gonna fucking carve, you've gotta be joking. I don't even need the carves, so... I'm just gonna start fighting the Raytheon now. I have to aim for the face, I have to make sure that I'm dealing maximum damage. I mean, you'd think that I'd be doing that in all circumstances, but it's especially important at this point. Thank you, Mr. Flash Bomb. See, I just don't have the time to use flash bombs like that. I couldn't be bothered, but it's part of how he plays the game, so I will reap the benefits of that. I'm getting full Gunlance combos out on this monster's fave, which is very good. Typically when doing the upswing with the Greatsword, or excuse me, the Gunlance, I would actually be, let me use a fucking max potion, I'm not risking it. Typically when doing the upswinging with Gunlance I would incorporate a shell, like a charged shell, but again I'm not using charged shells. Not when my sharpness is so damn limited. I was ready to shield that, but I was too slow again. Thank you for the flash bomb once more. Looks like you're going for the tail, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, I was ready to shield that. Good, that's what I was hoping for actually. Precisely that eventuality was what I was hoping for, but I certainly wasn't expecting it. It's very satisfying when you can manage it. I'd timed my upswing early because I knew that it was a left-facing hitbox. I got her on the turnaround. I didn't just make contact, I flinched her in place, which ensured that I wouldn't be hit by an oncoming charge attack from her. Managed to get the wing there, that's not really what I was aiming for. Bloody tail. No, the terrain is pushing her in my direction and I don't like it. Oh, I can't resist the fucking temptation. He can't resist the temptation, but then proceeds to miss with his attacks. I think the exact same thing happened. Oh god, this is... I've literally entered Deja Vu Inception. I was reminded of a time when I had done exactly the same thing, where I said, oh, I can't resist the temptation, and then I went and tried to attack the monster and completely missed, and then at that time, like the time that I'm remembering, I said then, I remember doing the exact same thing, and I missed. And I said the same thing. I said, well, I'll try and take this advantage, and I completely missed. I mean, that is just... To have reached the point where I've done the same thing 3 times, I mean, maybe it's time to get better at the game. Oh, fuck me, that threw us both for a loop. Suntrain 999 fellow is entirely bamboozled by the situation, and that's okay because so am I. Well, so was I. I speak in past tense, for I do have psychoserums on hand. Oh, sorry guys, I was not reading the chat. For some reason, the chat failed to scroll properly. Oh no, it succeeded in scrolling properly, it's just no one said anything for a while. It doesn't matter. I'm not overly concerned. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing what people are saying. Very nicely done. It's hard to hit this head consistently when it's flailing around, but I'll do what I can. Well, he's definitely leaving it to me. But he makes up for it with a flash bomb, so I can't really stay mad at him, can I? I'm down to blue sharpness, but we should be okay, we should be okay. And that is the reason why. That is the reason why. Next time, I'm actually going to bring fucking whetstones. I literally started this quest going, oh, thank God I've got whetstones, and then I realized that I didn't fucking have them. Because I'm an idiot. I'm borderline This guy is screaming at me to post for a third time, despite the fact that we've got 2 other people in the room, who may very well be able to get something out of posting their own quests, whereas I have nothing that I need. What I'm actually going to do is post whatever you want, Vernon. If you don't know what you want, then that's okay. I'll post something anyway, but... What's the deal with this guy? Yes, thank you, Hossein. I can't believe that he wants me to post for a third time. And he actually is telling me in all caps, Lord, U-turn! I hope you do a U-turn on that decision, quite frankly. Because it's inappropriate. There are people here that aren't me. So, yeah. We lost points because I died. Well, we lost something. I don't know what we lost. Maybe it was Zenny. It does not matter. We came through on the other side. Link is waving. That's very nice of you. I will bring cool drinks, yes. And whetstones. Most certainly. Let's not forget those. Well, we've got a full group. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... Oh no, it's just the scales. I thought I had to sell the cortexes as well. I have been left pleasantly surprised. Alright, come on. Get the max potion and the psycho serum. Very good. Link is now winking at us. Hello, Tron. What is going on? Tron, I'm sure that you have done this with the best of intentions, but I don't need my chat filled with a wall of emotes. Thank you. Anyway. Did Vernon say that he wanted to do something? My thinker isn't working right. Just good with anything. Understood. I will post something interesting, if I can. How about laggy? Yeah. No, you don't need laggy. You've done plenty of that. I wouldn't mind at this stage, but you've done plenty of that. Plezzy plus G Plezzy. Hopefully the Spaniards get it. Did he just say Spaniard? Yes. Because people who speak Spanish in this game literally come from Spain. Deal with it. Literally deal with it. No Latin Americans playing this game. Can you handle that? Sorry, I'm just bitter. For reasons that I don't even need to go into. What am I doing with myself? What would be appropriate? Fire. I will use this weapon. And I'm so happy to be using this weapon. I have not used this weapon with Awaken since Try. It has literally been 10 years since I last used this weapon with Awaken, so I am very excited to be doing this. This is so good. Lance is of course an excellent choice. Even Gun Lance is an excellent choice for underwater confrontations, so I'm more than ready for this. Tron, it was a raid of 5 people, but it was just you spamming emotes and nothing else. But I guess I should be thankful. Thanks. I don't know what I would have done without that raid. I might have just gone about my day very comfortably. Something along those lines, yeah. Okay. Anyway, aside from that, very enthralling situation. I'm going to get another beer. I'll be back in a moment. It would appear that I'm not the only person using Awaken lands, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this guy does not have a specialized Awaken land set. He's using a catch-all. He's using a catch-all, but I can't deny that it's pretty attractive looking. But yeah. What's he XDing about? He, says Link. Oh, I see, they're using the same loadout. What's Link using? I'd like to see his Awaken Lancer. Guard +2, Awaken, Bombardier, Mind's Eye, Guard Boost. Ooh. Oh dear, that's rather nice, isn't it? But you know what? I'm much happier with my set, because I've got Sharpness +1. He's basically swapped out Sharpness +1 for Bombardier and Mind's Eye. And you know what that has served to do? It has served to make a more visually attractive set, but I would not go so far as to say that he has a more functional set. I always... There goes that bottle top. I always prioritize functionality over, you know, oh, this armor set looks better because it's got more skills. I don't care about that. Now, I don't mean to phrase that in such a way as to impugn the motives of Link in having made that armor set. You know, he might have actually made it just because he thought that was a good thing, you know. He might not be just trying to make a set that looks nice, and that's his objective. I think that would be unfair. That would be an unfair assumption. But, yeah. My set's better. Even though it might not at first glance look as good. If you know what I mean. Sharpness +1 is just a whole lot more appropriate. I'm so excited to use this weapon. I've always loved the weapon design of the Rampart. I still see it as the Rampart. That's the name that comes to mind when I look at this weapon design. Oh no, sorry, the Babel Spear, yeah, the Babel. It's called Lost Babel in this game. Rampart, I think, is the first upgrade, but the Babel Spear is absolutely the name that comes to mind when I really think about it. When I really engage my brain, yes, that is the name that comes to mind. There's that fire damage. Thunder is technically better, but I don't have a thunder option, I don't think. Either for lance or gun lance. I should check that. I don't think I have one for... Of course I do have one for non-awaken, but I'm using awaken here, I reckon. That's what's happening. It's very hard to see what the fuck is going on at this camera angle. This should be a little better. I'll try to advance forward. I feel bad for these Plesioths. They're not going to last very long, not with this team of 4. And especially not with 2 fucking Black Diablos Lancers. I can't believe there are 3 people using Awaken Lance. What are the chances? Bloody hell, look at that. What a beatdown. Hey, guess what? I can sharpen my weapon. What a luxury. I can enjoy permanent purple sharpness, practically. What a privileged set of circumstances I've found myself in. No, Plesioth is... It's an interesting question, Hossein. Of course, everyone associates Plesioth with the very concept of annoyance. So therefore, Plesioth embodies annoyance. He is annoying the monster. But he is just as annoying underwater. Just in a very different way. He is in his element underwater. He's annoying to fight, whether you fight him on land or in his element underwater. Don't you love that almost needle of a lance? What do you call that? Pole? Lance pole? I don't know. Doesn't matter. The point is that is like a big needle. And I love that. I just love this lance. This is one of my favorite lance designs in the series. It's simple, but very cool. And I'm very happy to be using it to great effect here with Awaken. I'm going to head over here, sort of away from those guys, but also nice and close to the Plesioth. I'm just so happy with this loadout. Let's make Let's make use of that pitfall trap. Plesioth may even die in this thing. I don't know. We're definitely dealing a lot of damage, I can tell you that much. I did this quest, I think, I had a 2020 livestream recording of this quest that did not go well at all. I think I clipped it. But it was bad. And this is a very different outcome, it must be said. If you ever wanted to see a Plesioth limp underwater, you're seeing it. So, enjoy it. Oh, it'd be nice if I could be on target. Now, do I have an Awaken Lance option? Let's have a look. Did I meant to say a Thunder Awaken Lance option. I think I ended up saying, do I have an Awaken Lance option? The answer to that question would be yes. I do. I certainly do. But the answer to the question as to whether or not I have a Thunder Awaken Lance, or for that matter, Gun Lance option, is no. 299 is now screaming at Vernon to have a turn. It is on you now, Vernon, with your only partially functioning brain, to post a quest. You don't have to put much thought into it, just find some G-rank quest and post it. Doesn't even have to be advanced, I don't care. Just as long as it's G-rank, I'm happy with it. Yeah, it is unfortunate, Flomu. Look, if Twitch were actually appropriately functional, you would be able to rewind the live stream. I mean, it's very sad that you say, forgot this was live and tried to rewind. Look, the fact that it's live should not mean that you can't rewind it. That is, even Twitch originally had that functionality, but they took it away. And YouTube, despite how fucking abysmal it is, at least has that much. So, yeah, you should be able to rewind it, but I suppose you can't, and that's rather saddening. I will be back momentarily. I need to answer nature's call. That shall take place. I'll be back in a moment. Well, here's hoping I can get ready very soon. Island Warfare. Oh, another Plesioth. Well, okay. If you say so. This would mean that I should now equip my Awaken Fire Gunlance, which would be perfectly appropriate. Where is it? End of Night. Imperial Swan Lance. Here it is. Check this thing out. As I said before, it looks very much like that lance weapon design that looks like a gun lance, except this one is actually a gun lance. I believe it's a standard iron path, but it does have a good awaken... well, it has good awaken parameters, I suppose one could say. Ugh. Apparently YouTube is getting better for streamers. Well, if we're saying that it is getting better from a point of comparison as being what it was before, then that's great, but it probably still sucks donkey balls. Because to get better than what it was then is like, okay. Look, YouTube is just bad, and it must be said, Twitch also fucking sucks. Like, it sucks. It's fucking bad. But we put up with it because it's Twitch. And they just, you know, they've got their boot on your balls and you just have to live with it. YouTube, on the other hand, I mean, there's no discoverability, so I don't care. Like, if YouTube sucks, I can live with it. It frustrates me. I feel rather beholden to YouTube for the reason that I have been on YouTube for so long, but not with this current YouTube channel, but with past ones, absolutely. But I don't care. Like, at this point, I don't give a shit. My loyalty is gone. You people suck so hard that I think I'll be okay to, you know, obviously stream primarily on Twitch and then upload VODs to YouTube once enough time has passed. Specifically, 24 hours. That is what I'm forced to do. This is a fairly large Jaggy. This is like a baggy-sized Jaggy, which means that this one's pretty big. He could even be a gold crown. Look at him, he's sizable. Great Baggy is very large compared to Jaggy. Jaggy can get very small. But this one is, as I say, Baggy size. Oh, that's right, I can actually use my Gunlance shells now because I have whetstones. Good, I would have been very concerned if we failed to one-zone this fucking Great Jaggy. Oh, well, we're all carving, but there are only Mega Potions. And presumably... 299... Don't drink a fucking hot drink, drink the Psycho Serum. Oh, I see. Well, I was going to say... Presumably he was attacking a Jaggy, in which case we should just move on to the next location and let him deal with that. The monster was dead before I could even get that sentence out because I was too busy struggling between drinking hot drinks and drinking Psycho Serums to be able to see the monster in the location. Now, if drinking a hot drink had that ability, I think that would be very difficult to explain. But anyway. Yeah, the drones were brought back with a little bit too much, I guess, willingness to replace the Baggy and Jaggy and Roggies. Like, too much of an... There was too much of an embracing element to the return of the old drones, you know. It was like, let's embrace the old games to the extreme by bringing those guys back. I don't think it was needed. I really don't think it was needed. We're both looking for a frog. We both appear to be unsuccessful. Oh, I just got one. As long as no one jumps in the water, we'll be okay. Come on. Thank you. One of my other 2020 clips of playing this game is of me screaming about a guy who used a fucking worm to fish out a Plesioth. A worm! Can you actually imagine in your mind a Plesioth swimming out there in the ocean, and you put a worm in the ocean and the Plesioth is like, holy shit, what's that? What's that I smell? He comes right to you and bites. Like, are you kidding me? It's a fucking worm. Like, get a grip. Anyway, I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and recounting the situation, I still can't believe it. A guy trying to fish out a Plesioth with a fucking worm. It was just incredible. Anyway, okay, well, I sort of feel like I contributed, but that was very quick. And of course, the reason why it was very quick is because the health of this Plesioth was heavily reduced, as he was one of 3 monsters. Need my chat display on, I had accidentally turned it off. But yeah, that was a hunt. That was sort of a Plesioth hunt, but not really. It was over so quickly that it didn't feel like much of a hunt. More like a brief beatdown. And I'd say that there is a distinguishable factor that would separate those two things. Well, that's good to hear, Vernon. Bit of a return to normality after your turn. What have we got? Stuff. Ugh. It's getting a bit late. I was supposed to watch anime with a friend of mine, but I might be too tired to do it. But I'm enjoying myself. I think I got a nice ass shot of that Plesioth in that end screen, but I didn't really showcase it sufficiently. And I apologize for that. Is it Link's turn to drop a quest down on the board? Oh, I mustn't remember him from some time ago. He's only hunter rank 131, but he's got a good armor set, I have to say. I do think mine's better, but that doesn't mean that his is bad. His set is very appropriate, and quite frankly, at 131 hunter ranks, to have already put in the effort to get 3 Arshan armor pieces for that mixed set is commendable. So he has my respect. 3 Giganox. Okay, I've got nothing against that. Although I don't really want to use another one of my fire weapons because I've already used them. I suppose that would mean that paralysis would be my... But doesn't he... I feel like Giganox has a little bit of a resistance to paralysis, but I could always be wrong. Let's bring the end of night. Yes, the end of night. I'm ready. And a very cool looking gunlance, I have to say. Wouldn't you say? I just love that fork shape to the end of the gunlance. And the shield as well. Both the shield and the end of the gunlance itself have that fork shape. I like that. As for the puke green fur, well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, is it not? Maybe puke green is appealing to some people. I also need to, for context, tell you that green is probably my favorite color. My 2 favorite colors are green and purple. Those are my absolute favorites. So. But I will say that when it comes to green, some shades of it are just not pleasant. Of course not. Like, green is one of those colors where you can have a very pleasant and attractive green, and then you've got other green shades, usually the ones that incorporate a bit of yellow, that are just, ugh, what is that? I don't want to look at that. I'd feel a whole lot better if I didn't have to look at that. That's what it's like. And yeah, I understand that. I would happily just put down on the record that green's my favorite color, but I will readily admit that there are some green shades that are not nice. And depending on where they're used, it can be almost offensive to the eyes. Wait, whose turn is it to post? Oh, it's Link's turn to post. Well, what's happening? You've taken it upon yourself to eat before actually posting the quest. I mean, we could have all readied up in this time, and we could be ready to go now. We need more efficiency than this. I'm going to register a complaint. Tough gig. I get it. Nice pun, man. I don't know who wrote it, but he's the unsung hero of the translation team of 3 Ultimate. Let it be known. Underappreciated and undervalued. Those 2 words usually are in the reverse order, but I'd say the impact is the same. I don't know what you're going on about, Link, but I don't speak your language. Sorry about that. It was some Spanish sentence. Let's consume a hot drink. I would have assumed that Giganox would spawn here, but perhaps this is the quest where he spawns out in the open. Is it? It is. Me suena. 299 responds to... Well, I don't know if I want to read the other one. It's like... Te acuerdas de Decon. So we've got Te acuerdas de Decon, and then Me suena. That's what we've got. And then Lodecia Ines, or Decia Ines? I don't fucking know. Do I sound Spanish to you? Well, I'm not. Let's try to paralyze this monster. Incidentally, doing heavy shots is not going to contribute to any sort of paralysis build up, but it will deal damage, and I think dealing damage is good. What is the paralysis value? I have neglected to internalize that information, so let's have a look and see if it's substantial. It is 190. I would deem that to be unsubstantial. Oh dear. Well, you can roar at me. Era un patata? Sí, says Link in response to that question. Well, this is a lovely discussion, but I think I could do without it. I'm sure it would make a little bit more sense if I could show you the chat, but I happen to be in front of it. Look, 190 paralysis is not very good, okay? That's 19 true paralysis value, that's nothing to get excited about, but it's technically better to have a bit of paralysis than none. Yes! I was praying for that. Nicely done. I'm trying to type. What happened? I've lost connection. Could I re-establish that, please? No. Nicely done. No, surely not. Has my keyboard lost battery as well? Have batteries run flat on 2 of my devices in one recording? What in the precise fuck is going on? I'm pretty sure that's what's happened. I think my keyboard has died. It has. My keyboard has died. I need to replace the batteries of this as well. I mean, it would stand to reason that I'd need to do that. I haven't changed the batteries in this thing in a long time, but for it to happen now, that's just ridiculous. Anyway, I didn't get my paralysis off, which is a little regrettable, but I'm not surprised to see that we need a more protracted hunt to be able to reap the benefits of 190 paralysis value. Whatever. I should do a wyvern fire. Can I get it out before he flies? The answer to that question is no. But you never know. I might have been able to deal the damage by way of lag compensation. Let it be known, without equivocation, that I find the aesthetic appearance of the End of Night Gunlance to be almost perfectly... What's the word I'm looking for? Pleasing? Yeah, perfectly pleasing. When Wyvern Fire has been performed and it is recharging. I just love those little wings that stick out on either side. Nightmarish Maul, isn't that the rare? Possibly. You'd think it'd be rarity 9, but maybe it's not a high enough rank of a monster to warrant a rarity 9 drop. Poor Giganox. He is a tier 1 monster technically. I don't think he counts as tier 2. He might count as tier 2. You've generally got 3 tiers of monster, but Giganox might fall within tier 1. At this stage, I'm not going to venture a guess. We've got lots of bombs today. I really feel sorry for this Giganox. That really has to hurt. Get into this now. Get into the trap. Don't aim for the head. Why are you not in the trap? Get in it. What's going on? He is thwarting the team. He is avenging his predecessor. By being too smart to be... Oh, we've already got pre-tranking. That's very confident of you. But, oh, I see. Rather than confident, that was realistic of you. It was entirely sensible for you to be pre-tranking under those circumstances. I didn't realize we had dealt so much damage, but I shouldn't be too surprised. We did kill that second one fucking quickly. Oh. Apparently 299 has decided to post his own quest. He has verbally posted it before he has physically done so. He seeks to hunt a silver Rathalos next time. And I hope he means only a silver Rathalos. I don't want to do the gold one too. I really don't want that. Water. What are my water options for Lance and Gun Lance? Let's find out. Specifically Awaken, of course. It seems that I've only got the Rust to Ramboros Lance as an option, but I'm very pleased to be able to showcase it. So I should thank Mr. 299 for the decision he has taken today to... No, don't fucking put that in there. I already had a stack of that. It's alright. What happened to my slog bones? I must have used them for some weapon. It does not particularly matter, for I am now Hunter rank 481, and the way in which I structured that sentence would indeed imply that that somehow had a degree of significance to what I was previously referring to, which is patently not the case. And I thank you all for hanging on my every word, but sometimes it's better not to, really. Sometimes it's better not to. Why do I have as many as 102 of these? Can they disappear now? Thank you. That was just ridiculous. Please tell me it's the thank you. I would have probably begun to sob into my beer if you posted gold and silver at the same time. Because then we'd have to start smoke bombing and I just don't have the willingness to put up with that sort of strategy. Alright. Tremblor Granboros. Okay, well, take it easy. It's a halberd and a shield. Very good. A very cool looking weapon. It has to be said. Oh, goodness me. Shut up, Kayamba. Oh no, that's Cha-Cha, sorry. Well, presumably, unless Kayamba can put that mask on too. I hadn't really considered that. Well, either way, that Shakalaka can shut up. I had no desire to speak with him. It is Kayamba. He can wear the Pitfall Trap mask. Well, good on him. But that doesn't mean I want to talk to him. It's very presumptuous of him to seek to converse with me, one who is, quite frankly, unwilling to use Sharkalakas online. I don't even like Sharkalakas. Quite frankly, I am pro-feline. But I'm not so pro-feline that I think prowlers should exist. Prowlers can fuck off, seriously. But felines as companions, that's great. I want that in real life. I don't want house cats or outdoor cats. I want feline companions that I can dress up in armor and they can fight my battles for me. And again, I do speak in a real life context here. What battles might I need them to fight on my behalf in real life? Well, Who knows? I work in customer service, so I can think of a lot of situations in which it would benefit me to have someone either beheaded or tortured slowly over a long period of time. So, yeah, I mean, if my felines are willing to engage in that sort of barbarous activity, I suppose, or barbaric activity, whatever, then they're perfectly welcome to do that. Well, I wouldn't say that to the Sharkalaka's face. I say it in confidence with my dear audience, but I'm not going to reject the Sharkalaka to his face. That would make me very sad. As far as I'm concerned, they are rather friendly creatures, but I just don't like them as much as I like their felines. I think they're lovely. Oh dear. I'm so used to having mind's eye with a lance that I went for the head, but I need to not do that. If I can possibly resist the temptation. Vernon says, Prowler was fun back in the day, but I don't get the same enjoyment nowadays. Prowler was the opposite of fun for me back in the day, as you refer to it. I used it once and said to myself, wow, no. And then I used it, I think, twice more in Generations Ultimate because I needed to do it to get certain coins. There are certain arena quests that require Prowler. So technically the only time I've ever used Prowler voluntarily was in Generations around the time I first played it, which was when it came out. So there you go. That was literally the only time I used Prowler voluntarily. And I take great pleasure in that. It shows that I'm very quick to identify bullshit. And have been for quite some time. Oh, stop. Oh, very good. Wing opportunity. I'm always happy with that. Is it worth sharpening up? I don't know. Let's go for it. Here we go. I happen to be in position for aiming for the tail. Which may or may not be helpful to the team. I don't know if anyone needs anything. I certainly wouldn't assume that Mr. Hunter Rank 999 needs anything from this quest. I think he just wants to do it for fun. Which is perfectly fine. Again, it gives me an opportunity to showcase this weapon. I don't know if we would have fought... Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of monsters that we could have fought that were weak to water outside of this monster, but this is a fun monster to fight with a water weapon, I find. It's a little less obvious. You'd imagine fighting something in the volcano with a water weapon. But this thing's in the tower. Here we are, in 3 Ultimate. And we're in the tower. Just as well that we don't have to climb the damn thing. That always helps. Alright, well... Yeah. Rathalos decided to fly, decided against it, and then died. Those were his final moments. His last movements as a living dragon were, I think I'm gonna fly. Oh, actually, no. And then the end came. Lord U-Turn says 299. He's calmed himself down enough to not scream at me to post a quest, which is very good of him. I'll probably do one more hunt. I don't want to make it look like I'm going to post my quest and then run away, but I can't go on forever. I'm not going to do 3 hours, it's too late. It's already 1:25, and I do want to do at least one episode of anime with my friend, so I'll just do one more recording. Excuse me, one more hunt. Yeah, I'm gonna do one more recording, guys. I'm gonna end this recording, and I'm gonna do a whole new recording. I'll see you there. Excellent. I don't know where that overlap has come from. I very occasionally say recording instead of hunt or something. It's a very strange thing to be doing. I must remove these at once. Get out of my inventory, please. I will be back at Max Zenny in almost no time at all. It will happen. What would be a fun quest to finish on? Let's make it count. Wait, no. What's a weapon I haven't yet used? That's what I need to use to determine our next quest. I have yet to use my Ice Awaken Lance. Keeping in mind that I do not have an Ice Awaken Gun Lance. So, what is weak to ice? This fucking quest. Let's do... I don't even know if I want to do that. I'll have a look and see what I've got. If I had triple crimson, I would do that. I don't know about triple Kurapeko. That's not much of a hunt with this group of 4. Alright, let's do 3 Sand Barioth. Oh, that's right, my fucking controller is... my keyboard is dead. Well, I'm glad, Vernon, whatever you can get out of it. That is good to hear. Idian Crown. Speaking of a needle-like lance, this is very much that. And it's very tall. Oh, thank you. Well, that was good of you to say. He's going to wonder how you had foreseen that. How did he know? Although, if you had literally said triple Barioth and they set up based on what you said, they would be setting up for the wrong elemental weakness, so... It was indeed Sand Barioth that I was doing. For my Ice Lance. And you know what, this lance is pretty cool, look at that. The damage it deals is very impressive. My end damage is 602, which is pretty reasonable. It has as much as 540 element. This is a good weapon. It seems... It actually has the appearance of being about as long as the skyscraper. Maybe even longer than that. Look how tall this thing is. God damn it. I didn't realize that this lance was so long. I didn't really use it in Tri. It wasn't very good in Tri. Maybe I used it as an awakened lance in Tri a little bit, but not much. I think I might have done that towards the end of my experience in Tri, but I didn't do it often, you know. Well, hello, potato. There's no need to say hello, you can just start typing right away, that's fine. Oh. We're almost at 2,000 quests in G rank. We're slowly but surely getting there. I hadn't really set it as a target or a goal or an objective or anything like that. But, you know, we're almost at the next level of thousands. The next grouping of thousands. I would say that's fairly significant. As I said, this will be my last hunt, so let's make it count. Let's have a good hunt. Come to think of it, did I top up my bombs? I did not. We're likely going to be doing that again. Abusing the monster with bombs as it comes down. This time I will drop one on the second and one on the third. Previously I had neglected to drop a bomb on the second, and so I put down two on the third, and that really did make it look as if we were aggressively bombing the monster. With more bombs than almost one could say was necessary. But we did it anyway. Okay, oh, sorry. Dark ale plus late night equals sleepy doomling. So, if you could forgive me, I'm gonna get through this last hunt in sleepy mode. But I can assure you I am just as aware as I always was. Which is up for debate as to whether that could be referred to as aware. While that is a relative term, one can assume that it's also fairly evaluative. Some may consider me to be fairly aware, and others might think I'm not. If you could make a decision as to where you want to go, I'm not really surprised that Link died there, because really, that sand barrier was extremely indecisive. He didn't know what the fuck he wanted to do. He didn't know whether he was up or down, inside his ass or outside. And quite frankly, I was equally confused. So, I don't think I really appreciated that. I don't know who's hosting this, but this is a bit of... This is a whole lot of crap. I suppose the host is still that Hunter Rank 999 guy, but... things aren't looking all that good. Yeah, it has to be him. I'm the one who posted the quest, so I'm obviously not hosting, so it has to be the red player, which is that guy. Either he got bored of the hunts and is now streaming... well, I suppose it would be pornography if I wanted to be funny. It's like back in the Call of Duty days. Stop watching porn, kid. You know, that was the sort of thing that you were dealing with. But, well, not dealing with it, but that's, you know, what you'd be saying to everyone else. Get off the porn, man. Well, incidentally, I'm playing a video game, so I'm not watching pornography. Thank you for that, Potato. You've given me a visual that I really needed tonight. I don't know what I would have done had you not planted that in my mind. I don't know if this is the correct positioning of the pitfall trap, but I suppose it would have to be. Presumably the one who placed it was 299. That is close enough, definitely. Nicely done. I'll be aiming for the wings. I probably didn't need to aim for that one for so long, but I'm gonna try and get to the other one. Fortunately, that came at a time where I could counter on the second hit. Good night. Seriously. Yeah, of course we're getting regular carves, which I don't need, incidentally. I have a lot of Sand Barioth stuff. Likely a lot of G-rank stuff. I don't know about high-rank Sand Barioth stuff. Maybe not as much of that, but definitely G-rank stuff I have a lot of. Maybe less these days, because I seem to recall that I made a bit of Sand Barioth weaponry. When I had resolved to make Awaken weapons, I know that I made the Sand Barioth sword and shield, the dual blades, and possibly another weapon, which, needless to say, would have required some Sand Barioth materials, which, if one were to follow the line of logic, would therefore mean that I probably made use of some Sand Barioth materials that would have otherwise been sitting in my inventory, left to lie fallow, until such time that I either gazed at them and said, well, look at that, I've got some Sand Barioth stuff, I've got 99 of everything, yeah, etc, etc. Which probably wouldn't mean that they suddenly became used. They had been observed, but perhaps not used. It depends on how they feel about it. I mean, is it just enough to be appreciated for those materials, or do they need to actually be used in order to feel like they mean anything? I don't know what the self-worth of a monster material is. I don't know much about their thought process, and rather, it should be said they don't have a thought process before they are inanimate objects. They are neither sentient nor anything else. They're just things. Well, thank you for that enlightening discussion, Doomlink. Again, your scintillating observations have really served to empower the audience, as they always do. Phoenix, U-turn! I don't know what he's telling you to U-turn on. I don't think you've made any pronouncements upon any particular opinion or a subject of common discourse, but yeah, he's telling you to U-turn on something, so go for it, man. Choose whatever makes sense to you. That's alright, Potato. I'm always here to help. Goodness me. But that was a very successful 2 Hunting with Purpose recordings. I went from having an armor set with no weapons to use it with, to having an armor set with all the weapons that I could possibly want to use it with. And I'm very pleased by that end result. I hope you all enjoyed watching most of the journey. The only thing that I did not take you along with me to see was the entirety. What is the Wishing Star? I don't even have this fucking thing, I'm going to take it. What I didn't take you on board with me to see was the entirety of the mining process. You ended up seeing enough of it to have seen it all, as far as I'm concerned. So, you of course got to see that during what was, I suppose, around the first half of this recording. And yeah, I'm satisfied that that was enough for you to have really gotten the full picture of what was undertaken by myself. So, yeah. I thank you all for watching. I don't expect to record anything in the way of Hunting with Purpose for a while, now that I've completed what I've done here. But let me say that I will most certainly be doing more Molsana 3 Ultimate, within the Doomlink's Life Hunt series, of course. But, I don't know, that sort of depends on the community of 3 Ultimate. And if I'm lucky enough to get online, or, enter an online session while there are enough people to play with for me to reliably sit down and record a live stream without literally being left on my own, unable to hunt with anyone, which is my worst fear. Which fortunately has never happened, but I suppose it has to eventually. Does it not? I thank you all for watching, And I will... no! Fuck no, Potato. Don't even suggest that. It'll happen eventually, I'm sure, but no time soon. God. I will... He's asking for a Breath of the Wild streamer. No. I will see you all at some point in the future, and I do thank you all for watching. Bye-bye for now.